There comes a time in your life when your desire to change must outweigh your desire to remain the same. If this is your time, I want you to know that whatever your circumstances are, you are exactly where you need to be right now. You are stronger than you know. You deserve to live in your purpose and to have a happy and fulfilling life. You're worth keeping your promises to yourself. Every single thing you've done until this point has been enough. You are enough. You always were. My greatest desire is for you to give yourself permission to take a chance on you because you're worth it. Welcome to the True Growth podcast. I am Latina Mata, your mindset coach. And in this podcast, we explore and learn all things related to self-love, self-discovery, and inner work. It is the foundation to help you navigate life and make the necessary internal shifts to become the very best version of yourself. It is my greatest pleasure to be with you right here, right now. Throughout this podcast, we get to grow through what we go through together. Welcome back to another episode of the True Growth Through Growth podcast. And today, I want to give you some inspiration. I want to give you some motivation. Listen, girlfriend. Listen, brother. Listen. I know you've been through some shit. I know that you have allowed people to cross your boundaries. I know that you did not trust your intuition. I know that you allowed people to play on your vulnerability. I know you went into situations out of trying to survive. I know that you said yes when you really wanted to friggin' say no. I know that you didn't want anybody to judge you for being a bad person or feeling or thinking that you're a bad person. I know that you felt as though you had so much to prove to yourself or to your family or to your friends or to whomever. I know that you were afraid of not being ready or not being enough or not being able to manage your life or your situation. I know. And I know that if fear is the root of the decisions that you make, then the consequences would only look like pain and sorrow and regret and guilt and shame and unforgiveness within yourself and anger. I know that. And I know that because I have done that shit. And I'm here to tell you that the best thing that you could do for yourself right now in this very moment is take radical responsibility for the role that you would have played in your current situation. And I know that that would be a hard pill to swallow, especially when other people are involved and you know that other people would have done things to you that you were not happy about. But at the end of the day, the only person you have control over is your damn self. So the first thing that I want you to do is to take radical responsibility for where you are right now. Whatever your current situation is mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, take radical responsibility of that. Own that shit because you're a big girl or you're a big boy. And then I want you to acknowledge the emotions, the negative emotions that come up as a result of your situation or circumstance. I want you to acknowledge the anger. I want you to acknowledge the hurt. I want you to acknowledge the fear and the anxiety and the worry. I want you to acknowledge the feeling that it is so hard to forgive yourself. I want you to acknowledge all of that. And I want you to acknowledge that all of those feelings are perfectly valid. They are yours and they are yours to own and they are yours to hold. And I want you to recognize that it's okay to feel those things. But what I want you to realize that you get to give yourself the very unconditional love that you would give to a child. Specifically, especially, most certainly, when you are feeling these type of feelings, you get to love you even though you feel angry. You get to love you even though you feel afraid. You get to love you even though you made a mistake and you fucked it up and there were consequences. You get to love you in spite of. A huge part of this inner work, a huge part of this healing, the foundation is self-love, but it is a radical type of self-love where you get to accept all the parts of you and love all the parts of you, regardless of if they are good parts or not so good parts. We have been conditioned to love with conditions. We have been conditioned to love with conditions, and the transformation and the healing and the boost in your confidence and the management of your fears that you are looking for begins when you start to take radical responsibility for your current situation and then decide that you are going to love you in spite of the things that you aren't the proudest of. 2022 is here and you have the opportunity to do something different. You have the opportunity. We both have the opportunity to create something different. And I know you may have had some shit storms in 2021. Perhaps you'd have done things that were totally outside of your ways of being. You would have made some mistakes. You would have done yourself some wrong, because make it abundantly clear, this is not me saying that somebody did you things, right? Yes, there would have been people who may have hurt you, things that would have been said, things that would have been done, experiences that you'd have had. Sure, no problem. But at the end of the day, you have no control over them. So in this circumstance, especially if you are somebody who felt as though you should have known better, I want you, homie, homegirl, friend, brother, I want you to acknowledge that the situation, and I said situation because sometimes I think it's that you went through was necessary to help build your character. It was necessary for you to learn a lesson. It was necessary for you to see a completely different perspective about life. It was necessary for you to go through your situation. You got to grow through whatever the hell it is you went through, right? You don't need to stay feeling angry and being mad and being upset and feeling like you just messed it all up for yourself when you should have known. But you don't need to be feeling like that anymore. Remember who the fuck you are. Accept where your role was in that entire situation. Say, hey, I'm going to feel my feelings. I'm going to acknowledge all these feelings and say, I'm going to love me in spite of. And then you're going to decide every single day to reparent yourself and give yourself what it is you need until the new version of you fully blossoms and you get to stand up in your truth and live in your purpose and do whatever it is God put you here to do. Do not let any circumstance, any situation, any person, anything cause you to shrink yourself. You are worth way more than that, and you have come too far. You have come too far to stop now. This is the end of this podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Do leave a review, share with a friend. I would see you guys, or talk to you, I should say, in the next episode. Bye-bye. Mwah.